Okay, today we're going to hop into KDP and we are going to upload both a paperback and an ebook. This will be your standard novel. This would work for a nonfiction book. Pretty run of the mill here. So the first thing you want to do is hit this create button. When you do this, you will have these options. You want to choose paperback, assuming it's paperback, and you'll be brought to this page here, which allows you to start putting in the metadata needed to upload your book. I already jumped ahead a little bit, so I'm going to just continue without saving and pull up what I already started just in the interest of saving time. So I've done this. I'm going to continue setup. And you can see I've already put in the book title. This must be exact. Once you publish the book, you cannot change the title, so make sure you have it right. If you have a subtitle, the same thing goes. While at the moment, you can still update the Kindle subtitle after publishing, you cannot update the print subtitle. So make sure you've got that right. If you have series detail, you can do that, or you can add it in later. For this book, I'm going to add it in later. If this is a second edition, if this is a updated or revised or some other edition, you would put that information in here. For this book, this is the first book, so we don't need to do that. You will want to put in the author name. Now keep in mind, once again, the author name needs to be exact. It's very hard to change this after the book is published. So in this case, we're using initials and we want to make sure that we're doing it exactly as we want it to show up. So we've got the T period with a space, A period, and then the last name. If you had a middle name, you could put it in here, but typically I recommend you do exactly what's on the book cover, whether that be your real name or a pen name, whatever it might be. Contributors you can put in if you have them. So for example, if you had a co-author, you could fill that in here. Or as you can see from the drop down, you've got room for an editor, forward, illustrator, really quite a bit. And that's only if you need to, it's not required. Next, we've got your description, and this is the description that will show up on your Amazon sales page. This is something you can edit later. It's also super easy to format. So you can see here at the top right now, I've got this in bold just as a big tag for a call out. We could get rid of that, or we can add it. There's lots of things we can do. We could add bullet points. For example, if this was nonfiction, we might want some bullet points and we could add those in. And we can do different formatting as well. So we could do different headers and all of that good stuff. So very easy to use. It's a lot like working in Word. And don't be afraid to do that. Again, we know that your first sentence, your tag is going to be one of our, quick things that will get a reader to stay on the page. So that's why I like to do that in nice big bold letters at the top. And then we've got the rest of the description. I personally like to keep my description in a Word document so I can just copy and paste it over, and that way I'm pretty assured I'm not going to have any typos in there. Then you either need to select that you own the copyright or it's public domain work. The author owns the copyright. And then we get to this question, which is causing a lot of waves at the moment, the adult-only content section. Now, there is some speculation that if you say yes to adult-only content, for example, if you are writing super violent novels, if you're writing erotica or an adult topics, there is some speculation that if you select yes here, you'll go into what people are referring as the dungeon, meaning that you're not searchable on Amazon unless someone is in the Kindle category and they have a setting that says that they are willing to accept adult only or 18 plus content. So a lot of people have been going back and forth with this with Amazon and KDP because there's no real definition. And obviously, if people's books are going to be really hard to find or have discoverability issues because of this, they don't want to select it. I cannot advise you on what to do. I can only say that what I'm hearing from most people is that if it is something that's a little spicier or it's a little heavier on violence, what a lot of authors are doing is they're selecting no. However, they are then selecting the 18 plus. So the reason why they're doing this is when you sign up for an Amazon account, especially a child's Amazon account, it requires their birthday. And there are settings that will automatically hide any content that doesn't meet the age requirement. So for example, if I chose 17 as my minimum age, what would happen is that anyone who had an account that was browsing and their birth date didn't fall, so showing that they were 17 or older, my book would not be searchable from their account. So that's what a lot of authors are doing. Again, I can't advise directly. This book in particular, though, is 16 and up. Anyway, it's an adult novel, but there's nothing that we really worry about for this one over 16. So again, no for me. And then the age. The age is not required. It's just one of those things you might want to do, again, if your content is maybe a little bit on the explicit side. Primary marketplace for this one is going to be Amazon.com. We also have our new categories here. So you can see that we've chosen categories. We can edit these categories, and they've got the options here. I'll go more in depth on how to choose and find those categories when we get to the Kindle book. But we've got our categories here, and we can have 3. So we have chosen 3. And then we get our 7 metadata keywords. In the metadata keywords, you can have up to 50 characters at the moment. You may choose these things thinking and keeping in mind what will readers search. And so for this one in particular, we've chosen some keywords. You can also do research in different tools like Publisher Rocket to kind of optimize your keywords to make sure you're getting good keywords that maybe don't have as much competition, so on and so forth. But our metadata keywords, there are 7 here. I'm going to save and continue on this one. And now we get to the next page. This is the one where we have our ISBN. If you watched any of my videos, you know I really recommend you buy your own ISBN. Your ISBN is kind of the print and distribution rights to your book. You can get them if you're in the US. You go straight to Bowker at myidentifiers.com and you can buy a bundle of them. I think it's like $300 for 10 ISBNs or somewhere in the $500 range for 100. And each format of your book does need an ISBN. So the ebook, the paperback, if you're doing audio or hardcover, those each need an ISBN. It's the identifier tag that's used across all platforms. Now, what that says, KDP does offer a free ISBN. That just means that they hold the print and distribution right for this edition of your book. So some people use it. I don't recommend it, but it is there. We have bought our ISBN, so we are just putting in the ISBN that's already been assigned through Bowker, and then your imprint is the publisher name or the publisher, the press name. So I wouldn't want to do, for example, Keri Barnum, because it doesn't sound very professional. I would want to have a publisher or imprint name that was the face of my publishing company. For this particular book and for this client, it's Transcendence Press, which is what we've dropped in there. Now, the funny thing about setting a publication date is this is what will show up on the metadata or the page for the book, but you can't actually preset a print book on Amazon or KDP. As soon as you hit the publish button for a print book, it goes live. So this is the date that could show up, but it's not necessarily putting this in pre-order. So that's important to know. I've seen some people get caught up on that. Then we want to go and just pick our print options. You should know this from when you were formatting the book. So this book in particular is black and white interior with cream paper, but they are other options. The book is 5 1/4 by 8, but you could select different sizes with this little button here. You can see lots of options. You can custom input. And if you are looking for a list of trim sizes that Amazon allows, that is available on the KDP website. For bleed, this is no bleed, meaning we don't have images that are bleeding off the page. So we've got no bleed. Most novels will be no bleed unless, for example, you have some type of design on your chapter pages or something like that. But most novels, most nonfiction will be no bleed. And for this book, we're going with a matte cover. Then we want to go and we want to upload the paperback manuscript. I'm going to show you what that looks like. I have saved it here, so I'm just going to go to where I have the file saved on my computer, and I'm going to select the PDF. You do want a PDF here. You can use a doc, like a Word doc file, and it will auto convert. It's free and it's convenient. It's not necessarily going to give you the control that you want when you're uploading and formatting a book. It's an option, but again, we like to upload a formatted PDF that's already going to have the specifications and the design that we want. Then you can use Cover Creator to make your cover if you're making your own cover in KDP. You can see that's a process, but we've got our cover. So we're going to upload a cover you already have. And then you need to check if you've got a barcode or not. This one, I have a price barcode on the book. If not, you would leave that blank. And then once again, we're going to upload our cover file. And this should be a PDF file that is print ready, made to the specifications of KDP for the size of the book, the trim size, the page numbers, and all that good stuff. And again, KDP has some great templates, so you can make sure that you've got the right size book cover for your book. Once we get to this point, KDP will not let you go further before you do the previewer. And the previewer is going to do kind of like a AI scan of your book files to make sure all is well. So we're going to hit that button there. This can go very quickly. It can go in less than a minute as they review your files, or for more complex files or perhaps really long books, I've seen this take quite some time, 5 to 10 minutes even. So we're just going to wait here while this goes through, and we will wait until it's done. All right, we have gone through this process and you can see that it was saving, and this is what we hope to see. You can see quality check on this side. We have no errors. We have no notifications. If there were any problems, we would have notifications here. If it was the interior of the book, it would tell you page numbers. If it was the cover file there was an issue with, they would note that as well. But you can see that for a cover file, we've got our gutter here. So red is what we like to keep everything within. White is what we expect the cut line to be. So of course there's always a margin of error, especially with print on demand, but this is kind of the safe zone within the red. And then white is when we would actually expect that to be cut. Everything past the white we wouldn't expect to be there. So this all looks good. And what we're looking for again is that within the red line, our title is in there, all of our logos, everything's there, and same for the front and the rest. And then we can use this button to just preview inside. So we want to make sure everything looks right. You can certainly go page by page and check through the whole thing. I tend to check a couple of pages here in the beginning and then spot check through. And then I go towards the back of the book to make sure it looks right. Again, this has already gone through a quality check with AI. So, and I've already looked and proofread these files. So I'm pretty confident here. And then assuming that everything's all good, we're going to hit the approve button. Let's say there was a quality issue. The gutter was wrong or the pages were wrong. Something was going on. We would have the option to exit print previewer and go fix our files. But since this is A-OK, we're going to hit approve. And there we go. We're going to be brought back to the same page. Just this time our files have been approved, so we can save and continue to the next page. I also want you to notice that it gives us our print cost for the book. So this book costs $4.66, or I'm sorry, $4.66 to print on KDP. That will be the author's cost if they choose to order print copies from KDP as author copies. So save and continue we go. Then we get to the pricing page. So first, if we are doing all territories, then we just click here. If you're doing individual territories, This doesn't happen too often, but let's say, for example, you have a publisher in the UK and you only have publishing rights elsewhere in the United States or Canada, so on or so forth. You could pick individual territories, but this book, this is the original publisher. They have all rights, so we're going to choose all territories. And again, my primary marketplace and the primary marketplace for this author is Amazon.com. Then we get to the pricing piece. This book is going to be priced at $17.99 for the paperback. Printing cost, as I said, is $4.66. I have all market places are based on this price. So it's auto converted. I did not have to convert this. It's auto converted and it will change just based on the currency at the moment. Now, the 60% rate is that's what the author gets. Amazon keeps 40, the author gets 60. But keeping in mind that the author is responsible for paying the print cost. So the royalty on this book is actually pretty good at $6.13. That means for every paperback this author sells, they will make $6.13. Now, expanded distribution is where you can give KDP permission to upload your book into Ingram Spark. Ingram Spark, of course, is that print-on-demand company that will get the book into Ingram Wholesale. Ingram Wholesale is where bookstores and libraries buy from. Now, if you purchased your own ISBNs, which hopefully you did, I would encourage you not to do expanded distribution. Rather, I would have you upload your book here to KDP for Amazon sales, and then take that same ISBN, that same interior, and upload that to Ingram Spark directly. So you have more control. You upload to Ingram Spark with your ISBN. You list your book in Ingram Spark and Ingram Wholesale there, and Ingram Wholesale will then get your book into barnesandnoble.com, bookshop.org, and then also in the Ingram Wholesale catalog, which is how you can pitch for bookstores and libraries to actually carry it in store or in the library and order it that way. If you would like to do that process, I also have a YouTube video walking you through the Ingram Spark upload process. So super easy. You can absolutely do it. You retain more control and you get higher royalties because there's not a middleman for expanded distribution. But as you can see, profit margins look good all the way down. We can see different marketplaces as well. So we've got that. And hey, this looks pretty darn good. The thing I want you guys to remember is that if I were to hit publish your paperback book right now, this book would go on sale pretty much right away. It can take up to 72 hours, but often it'll be less than that. And this book would be listed right away. So if I was doing a pre-order campaign or I wanted to order a proof, then I would not want to do that because then I would just have that book live. So what I'm going to do is save as draft, which means I'm going to save all the work we just did. And then I'm going to hit request a proof. When you request a proof, you get a pop-up kind of saying, that once this happens, you'll have a not for resale watermark on the cover. You can order as many quantities up to 5. I don't recommend that you order that many. Order 1, maybe 2 if you need to get it to a secondary person to review it. But keep in mind, this has a not for resale watermark. It doesn't look that pretty. So you don't want a bunch of copies with that on it. You want to wait until you get your author copies, which are, clean, nothing on the cover. So you just order it and then you choose your marketplace. So if I'm in Amazon in the US, then I would do Amazon.com. And then once I submit a proof request, within about 4 hours, they'll email me with a link to order and check out from my Amazon account. And of course, you can choose other countries if that better fits your needs. So I've already done that for this book. I don't need to order an author copy or a proof copy. So I'm just going to go back here. Now, I'm going to keep this as a saved draft. And the reason why is this book doesn't come out for about another month. So I don't want to hit publish your paperback book until right before the book comes out, the day of or the day before. So we're not going to publish that book yet. We're just going to keep it as draft for now. However, I do also want to get my ebook up, and I want to get the ebook up for a pre-order because you can do an ebook or Kindle pre-order on Amazon. The nice thing is we've already got our paperback created. So now I just have to hit this create Kindle ebook and it will automatically transfer over a lot of the information from the paperback, meaning it's less work for me. So I'm going to create Kindle ebook. And you can see the book title's already in here. Now, what I am going to do is, because the subtitle is something that can be played with a little bit here, and the subtitle, again, I'm not going to advise you one way or the other, but the subtitle is often used for genres or tropes as a metadata search tag. So it makes your book more searchable and easily to find on Amazon when readers are looking for a book. So for example, in romance, you'll often see something like a billionaire romance or a second chance romance. And for this book, it's dystopian fiction, it's post-apocalyptic, and that is what the author would like to have for the subtitle on the Kindle only, keeping in mind this can be removed or changed at the moment, because this is the Kindle. If this was the print book, it'd be stuck forever, which is why we didn't have it on there. So we did put a post-apocalyptic survival thriller for subtitle on this one. Again, I'm going to add the series detail later. This is book 1 in an upcoming series. So we're going to wait on that. It's the first edition, so I don't need to worry. The author name transferred right over from the other listing. Our description transferred over from the other listing, which is great. Again, I own the copyright. We're not saying it's adult only content. That's not correct. We are going to put this as 16 to 18 plus, just to, keep it. I don't think it would be something that young children would pick up, but out of respect, we're going to do that one. Primary marketplace is Amazon.com. Our keywords also transferred over, so that's taken care of. But what didn't transfer over was the categories. So I promised you guys that we'd dive into categories and the new category system a little bit more with the ebook, which is what we're going to do. So we're going to choose categories. Now, this author has already done his research. He knows which categories he'd like for the Kindle book. And so we're just going to actually find those and search them. The first book he's asked for is post-apocalyptic. So first thing first is we have to either know the places we're going, or we have to go to Amazon and find kind of the categories and subcategories. So for this one, we know that this one is going to be under science fiction and fantasy. So that's the main category. And then we have to do our subcategory. Our subcategory for this one is science fiction, I believe. And then you can see there are even more subcategories. So we could go down, let's say if it was military or different things like that. Ours doesn't fit either of these. It doesn't fit TV, movie, or video game adaptations. So we're going to stick here. And what we're looking for is right there. Dystopian is one of our categories the author asked for. The other one was post-apocalyptic. So we're going to choose those. And there is 2 of our 3 categories that we're going to have. And with the new category system in the back end of KDP, you can find and select any category that's in the Amazon store. Sometimes it takes some digging and some finding for the path to get there, but no longer can you email KDP and ask them to assign your book to categories. You actually have to do it yourself. So that's one of the things you kind of want to think of and do some research in advance for your categories. The other category this author wants is coming of age, and this is through literature and fiction. So this time I'm going to add another category. This is going through literature and fiction, and we want coming of age. Let's see, which one did this come from? Let me just check my notes here. This came from genre fiction, which I know because we did our homework and we have already looked at the bestsellers in the categories, so we know which place we're going from. And let's see, coming of age right here. So you can see I was able to find that. Now you will notice once I select the placement, which is kind of the final tag here on this link, you will notice that I can't choose any more subcategories. So if you're not finding your tag here, then make sure that you're doing the subcategory button, because it may be here. Maybe it was in family life, and then it was in one of these. So if you're like, I know it's in genre fiction, but I can't find it, make sure you've gone as deep into the subcategory as you need to. This one is coming of age, and we're going to save those categories. Now, with the new updated categories, it is important to note that in a bid for integrity in the categories, now it is required that Kindle books go into Kindle categories, and books, hardcover or paperback, go into the book category. There are more Kindle categories than book categories, but it used to be that some of that was a little fudged. You could put a Kindle book in a book category, which would help you rank higher, different things like that. But Amazon and KDP are trying to cut that back. So now you only have the options for the Kindle book categories if you're in Kindle setup, or the book categories if you're in a print or paperback or hardcover setup. All right, keywords here. Again, you have 7 spots for here, and you could do the same as your ebook. You could do them different. I definitely recommend that if you haven't done any research in something like Publisher Rocket, that you consider doing that if you want to optimize your metadata space here. And then we have the option, I am ready to release my book now. That means as soon as I publish, just like the paperback, it's going live. I don't want to do that. I want to make my book in the Kindle available for pre-order. This book is going to come out on August 29th. So I'm going to select that for my pre-order dates. Then I'm going to have save and continue. That means that we can have the book out for pre-order. The final edition has to be uploaded by August 25th. So I do have the option of saying, no, I don't have my file yet, and I can still set up a pre-order. Or, yes, I have a file and would like to upload at this time, which I do, so I'm going to. But even if I upload a file, I can change that all the way up to August 25th. If I find a typo in proofreading or something, I have the chance to change that up until a couple days before the actual release of the book. I've talked about DRM before, digital rights management. You can add it to your book. The idea of digital rights management is it's supposed to make your ebook file safer from hackers or people who would steal the work. The thing about DRM is it's a great idea, but it's a little bit like a screen porch door. If someone really wants to break in, they're gonna take a knife or something. They're gonna cut through that screen and they're gonna steal what they want. So it offers a little bit of protection, but it doesn't necessarily keep your files from being hacked. If someone really wants them and they know how to, use computers in that way, they can get at your files no matter what. But in the meantime, DRM can sometimes cause issues for legitimate readers who are having issues downloading the book to different devices, or if they've got certain accessibility features on a device or an app, it can sometimes get in the way of that. So typically I don't use DRM. I think that it can cause more frustration than it actually helps. And like I said, if people are that determined, they're going to get your files anyway. That's why we, copyright, and why we keep our eye out for pirated sites and things like that. I'm not a lawyer. I can't legally advise you, just sharing what I personally do and my thoughts on that. So do what you will, whether or not to add that or not. If you do, you just click it. We're going to upload our ebook manuscript. Right now, Amazon accepts ePubs and ePubs only. So that's what we're going to upload. This specific ePub came from Atticus. And you can see that in order for this to save, I actually have to, submit for pre-order for it to save. So it's in. I'm going to take my cover again. We can use Cover Creator and use KDP stock images and make our own cover, but I already have a cover. And this is just the front cover, and it's in a JPEG file is what we need. So I am going to take this. I've got the front cover. Got it a couple times. I think this is the right one. So I'm going to take my front cover and upload it. Hopefully it'll be pretty quick. All right, and you can see everything's uploaded. In order to do this, I do have to actually hit the save and continue button for it to actually save. So we can launch Previewer just like before. We can launch Preview and we can look at that way. which I do recommend you do. And then we have to put in the last bit of information about the ISBN and the publisher. Again, publisher, we're going to do our imprint name, which is Transcendence Press. Here's where I'm going to confuse you guys with an ISBN. ISBN, I do recommend that if you are going to publish your ebook, especially if you're publishing it wide, you're not doing Kindle Unlimited or Kindle Select, you want to put that ebook up on Kobo and Nook and all the other places. I recommend that you buy your own ISBN and you assign your ISBN to the ebook so that it can be tracked throughout everywhere on the sales process. So if you're selling it, if you're trying to hit USA Today or some other seller list, they can track that ISBN across platforms, and I recommend you do that. However, Amazon doesn't actually use an ISBN. They use something called a ASIN, a Amazon Standard Identification Number. And so for that, you can use one or not. If you're going Kindle Unlimited, you don't necessarily have to use an ISBN because it's not being used across platforms. This author is going to be in Kindle Unlimited, so at the moment, we're not going to use an ISBN. However, if they do decide to go wide in the future, we would most definitely assign an ISBN and use that on every platform. So, of course, use your judgment. Now, you'll notice that the previewer has now popped up and it says, hey, we found one possible spelling error. So when we do that, we can launch the previewer and it will actually give us a notification. Yes, it's going to walk us through all the steps. Got it. So you can see that this actually has notifications. Now this one, it is checking spelling errors. However, this one was meant to. It's a letter written by someone who is not a great speller. And so you can see this was on purpose or purpose. But it's good to know. It's just another kind of check to make sure that everything's wrong. So like this one, this may actually be a spelling error. And if so, look, it is, which is great to know because this means that this gives us the opportunity to go and fix this ebook and the manuscript before it comes out in August. All right, so now that we've done that, and again, we will fix those files, of course. It was a good teaching moment there. So once we've done all this, we've got our files uploaded, we're going to hit the save and continue because we still want to go forward and set up with our pre-order since that's coming out in a month. So here's where we get to the pricing element. If you intend to put your book into Kindle Select for Kindle Unlimited, you would check this button here. This book, again, is going into Kindle Unlimited, and Kindle Select is the program that gets your book into Kindle Unlimited. It is a 90-day program. So if you submit to it, you are in a 90-day contract that the ebook would be exclusive to Amazon within that 90-day period. It does auto-renew unless you opt out. But for this book in this series, we are going to go Kindle Select for Kindle Unlimited. This, again, is all territories, just like we talked about with the ebook. We know we've got all territories. And then we've got Amazon.com as our primary marketplace. Here's when we get to the actual pricing. Now, people always ask me, well, they've got 35% and 70%. Why would anyone choose a lower royalty rate? Well, if I am doing, let's say, a book at $199, I have no option but to do a 35% royalty rate. You can only claim a 70% royalty rate with a book that's priced at $299 or higher. Now, it's also important to notice the size of the file. This is a relatively small file, and the delivery fee, there is none at the 35%. And that is why some people will use it. Because if this was a bigger file, if this was a children's picture book, a cookbook, something with a lot of imagery, then it may be higher. And you will see when I go to the 70%. So again, has to be between $299 and $999 to have 70%. I'm going to put this book up to our intended price, which is $399. And you will see that now I have a delivery fee. The delivery fee is 7 cents. If I was doing the 35%, it would be free delivery. So that is kind of the difference, is that if you have a really big file, sometimes the delivery fee is pricey enough that it makes sense to take the lower royalty. And then it tells you, of course, what the royalty would be on both. So if I took the lower royalty, it'd be $1.40. So if I take $1.40 and then I know the delivery fee would be waived, my net profit is $1.40 for every book sold. If I do the 70%, my net royalty would be $2.74, even with a 7-cent delivery fee. So for most novels, nonfiction, most standard books, you're going to want to do the 70% royalty if your book is priced at $2.99 or higher. Again, rare cases where you'd want to go for the 35%, or if your book is priced under $2.99. So if you're priced at $1.99 or 99 cents, then that is when you might actually consider going with a lower rate. Now, I do have quite a few authors who will say, hey, this is a book. I want to do a launch promo. So I want this book to come out and I'm going to do it at 99 cents to start, which means a 35% royalty because you can only do a 35%, which is cool. If you're going to do a discount or a 99-cent book for pre-order, you can do that. The thing you want to remember is when you come in after the week of your launch and you say, okay, I'm ready to put my book priced back up to that $3.99 rate, you really, really have to remember to change your royalty over to 70%, or else you are losing more than $1 per every ebook that you sell. So that's one of the things you definitely want to check on. Again, for this book, we're doing 70%, $3.99. The author will earn $2.74 for every book that is outright sold on Kindle, and then they will earn by the page read for Kindle Unlimited. So we're all set here. Now this one, I have two options. I can save as draft, which means it's just going to save the draft and I'll be able to go in and edit it. It will not give me a pre-order page, or I can submit for pre-order. This means that the actual page, the sales page and the ebook pre-order will go live. Once there, I am committed and locked into my pre-order launch date. I better have a file available. Amazon does occasionally let you move that pre-order date out, but there are sometimes penalties. For example, if you ask to move out a pre-order date, they can actually block your account from doing pre-orders in the future, or say, hey, you get one and that's it. So just be sure that you're relatively certain you'll be able to make your pre-order date before submitting for pre-order. This is, again, for ebook and Kindle only. I am sure I know I'm ready to do this. I also know I can change my files. Remember, we found that one spelling error in the manuscript. I can update that and change that and upload a new book file up until August 25th. So I'm very confident. I'm going to hit submit pre-order because I really need my sales page up. This is this author's first book under this pen name. So I need this book up. I need the sales page up on Amazon so that I can claim the Author Central profile, so that I can do a Goodreads author profile, and that I can then from there do a Goodreads giveaway. So that is just a couple of the reasons why we are keen to get a pre-order page up. So we've walked through the process. I'm ready to do it. I'm going to hit that submit for pre-order. It'll take a couple of minutes, and just like that, hey, it's up. And what will happen is the pre-order will be in review. Typically, again, within 72 hours, we will actually have a live page for this pre-order. And what will happen is people can order the book between now and August 29th. And then on August 29th, anyone who pre-ordered it, it will automatically deliver to their Kindle. And then, of course, anyone who's looking to buy the book after that will just order it and get it on demand. And the paperback will make sure is up by then as well. So those are the steps to publishing on KDP. When we are ready for that paperback to go live, by the way, we will just come in here. We'll continue setup. And we will go all the way to the paperback rights and pricing page. Yep. We're going to go all the way to that page because we've already done all the setup. We've got all our files. All we're going to do on the day that we're ready to launch on like August 29th, or maybe the day before, because it can take a little while to publish, we're just going to come in here and we're going to hit that publish your paperback book, and it will immediately go into the publishing process and work to get that page up. So pretty easy. That's kind of a walkthrough of your basic upload for both print and ebook for KDP for your standard novel or nonfiction book. I hope that helped. But if you have questions, drop them in the comments. I do check them out and I try to answer them as I'm able. Thanks, guys. If you enjoyed this, make sure you subscribe, and we look forward to hearing from you.